Just wanted to make a quick video as to why I own 3 mixers and which one do you actually need. Now, at these 3 mixers, I'll let you know in advance. One cost me $40, the other one cost me $365, and the other one runs me $430. I use all these mixers for different reasons, and I'm going to explain to you why. Now, whether you're into audio or you're a DJ looking to expand on your setups, I don't want you to overthink the gear at all. At the end of the day, these 3 mixers do the same basic job. They take audio in. On top of that, they send clean audio out. They take a DJ controller's audio. You could control the volume from each of these mixers. On top of that, you could feed power speakers. And most importantly, which is why we're here, you could save a gig if you use these correctly. Now, before I get into the breakdown, I just want to let you know, just because I have these big high-tech mixers does not mean I'm going big leagues. I'm just buying myself more headroom, flexibility, and safety at the end of the day. I'm not buying more channels because I want to use them all, but really just so I don't run out for the worst case scenario. And to follow up on that last point, if you're looking to get in this audio gear, is that I don't want you to have the mindset of, okay, cool, I'm only going to use 2 channels, so I only need a 4-channel mixer. At the end of the day, you don't want to plan for what you're using this mixer for. You want to plan for what might show up at the event. So to get straight into the breakdown, I want to start off with our Sequawing CT06 mixer. It's a 6-channel mixer, which only cost me $40 on Facebook Marketplace. And this is my ideal emergency mixer. It's good for backups. I usually carry this as a backup, sometimes for small house parties, quick setups. And the pros about this mixer is that it's cheap. It gets sound out clearly. It's small and lightweight, so it's easy to carry around. And like I said before, it's just my ideal emergency mixer because I could just whip it out, worst case scenario, and do what I got to do. But now, if we're talking about the cons, I'm going to talk about one very key topic within this video, which is the headroom. It has very little headroom. It's easy to distort. No real EQ control. Even though we have the faders and they're numbered, there's things that go into that, right? It doesn't really have too many effects, and it's less clean gain structure, right? So this mixer won't make you sound better, but it will save your gig. It's definitely going to get the job done, which we'll go into. Now, for the second mixer, we're going to be talking about the Yamaha MG12XU mixer. This is a clean, reliable mixer right here. This is best for mobile DJs. It gives out clean sound. It's great for professional events. And now to really get into the pros of this mixer right here, it has much better headroom. Now, we're going to be talking about headroom a lot more. I'll give a deep dive into that. Now, also, we're going to talk about how clean the preamps are. Love how clean the preamps are. It has built-in compression with the FX on the side right there. And yeah, the physical knobs are nice, fast, reliable. It sounds clean even when it's pushed, and that's one of the key things for me. Now, if we're getting into the cons of this mixer, we're going to talk about how it's a much bigger footprint. Of course, it's heavier, it's a lot bigger, but that's the least of our worries if we're really carrying around with this with the intention of doing good by our events. Also, there's no remote control behind it. It has fixed routing, but that's just something that comes with mixers like these, unless we're talking about digital mixers. So I wouldn't say it has the most cons. I definitely love this mixer, and this is one of the mixers I trust when sound quality actually matters. So you'll definitely see me pop out with these at very important events, but besides that, it gets the job done perfectly. Probably one of my favorite mixers. Now, for the last mixer, I want to talk about our Behringer XR16. Now, this mixer right here is all about control and flexibility. This is best for larger events, whether you have mics, specific zones, and complex setups in certain rooms. Now, to talk about the pros, this is all digital control. You could use this off a tablet. I personally use it off my phone through an app called Mixing Station. On top of that, each channel has individual EQs, has compressions, gates per channel, the much more advanced stuff. You can mix from anywhere in the room because, as we mentioned before, you're controlling this digitally, whether that's through a tablet, phone. You could save your presets. So let's say, for example, if you put any type of presets that you wanted before, you could save those on whatever app you're using. And as I said before, it's just the flexibility. Everything about this mixer right here is about flexibility. That's exactly why I love it. Now, if we're talking about the cons is that this needs Wi-Fi stability. If you do not have stable Wi-Fi, good luck to your event. I ran into this issue an event earlier within this week, and that almost killed the whole event if I didn't have a backup mixer. Now, of course, on top of the Wi-Fi stability, you're controlling this through an app. So you're going to need some type of slight learning curve. And if you're not into, learning what it takes to control specifics of audio, like the EQs and stuff like that, then this is not for you. On top of that, it has no physical faders because, of course, you're controlling everything digitally. So that might not be your speed, but at the end of the day, this is all about control. So before we end off the video, I just want to hit on some key things that I've mentioned throughout this video that it's very crucial to explain. And we're going to go in this order. So number one, what did I mean by save an event? Number two, what did I mean by headroom? What is headroom? Number three, what are preamps? And number four, what is fixed routing? We're gonna hit all this right now if you don't understand what that means. So now, what do I mean by saving an event? I mean this in two ways. Let's say, for example, if you have a DJ and the DJ is just constantly redlining, they're killing the speakers, the audio sounds distorted because they don't know how to properly manage the audio. At least with you being behind the mixer, you give them a safety level to hit before they completely kill the mixer. So you let them redline, do whatever they do. You told them 5 times, hey, listen, stop redlining. You don't need to do that. It's loud enough. Trust me. And they just consistently keep doing that. Now, at least within your end, you're able to give them that safety net. Like, okay, cool, listen, do what you do since you're not listening, but I gave you this level. If that sounds good to you, then run it. But I know that the speakers, the equipment is all protected. We're good to go. You can keep this event flowing, you know? Everybody's ears are still good. Now, the second way I mean that is, let's say, for example, you have a specific equipment that's managed by another audio box. For example, let's say you have wireless mics, and wireless mics usually take another transmitter with the little antennas going up, and that's how you control the wireless mics through that specific audio box. Now, those have specific presets already inside of them. Now, of course, you can amplify them, control them through their little knobs, whatever, but the issue is that that's all you have there. There's nothing else you could do. So let's say, for example, even if you control the presets as much as you could with the knobs, sometimes there's still going to be a lot of interference. Some of you guys have seen it for events that you've probably went to where the host speaks in front of a speaker and all of a sudden it's like it's just very bad audio distortion. It's ridiculous. So basically, at least with the mixer, you're able to actually control more of the presets, control how loud it gets in that room, what's the max, what's the minimum, if you want more bass within the mic, all of that. That's definitely one of the key ways to save an event, and that's what I use for a lot of our events where we have people presenting things or just speaking. So now we're going to talk about headroom, and headroom is basically how loud can you go before your sound starts sounding bad. One of the easiest ways that I like to think about headroom is the space you have between loud and broken. Now, to better explain headroom, I want to use the DDJ FLX4, one of my favorite DJ controllers on the market right now because it's easy to transport. On top of that, it's lightweight. You can use this as a bedroom setup. You can use this as a professional club DJ setup. But now, to speak about headroom, I want to speak about how these levels are the only levels you get to see whether you're peaking in audio or not. And if you've ever used this controller here, you know how easy it is to hit reds. Like, it's just too easy to hit reds. And that's only because we don't have enough headroom in order to actually see our levels. This is the only levels that we're provided with. To also add on, we don't even have a master volume like level over here. We only have our channel faders, our channel levels over here in order to describe where we're actually at. And if you've hit reds on this, you understand that it's not the audio or the sound that's peaking. That's just sometimes where you have to be at in order to make the audio sound clean. So that goes the same thing with cheaper mixers, is that the headroom isn't enough to actually see your levels. And this is why I urge people getting into audio or DJs looking to expand on their mixer equipment to get good quality mixers. It doesn't have to be the biggest mixer, but it definitely has to be a mixer that you could genuinely keep track of your levels. Because if you're going for the cheaper mixers where you're only given a certain amount of levels and you're constantly hitting reds, but it doesn't sound loud enough, you're not actually able to keep track of where you're actually at. You're just given levels that are there, you know, they're just there, you know, it's really for show, if we're being honest. But at least on the higher quality mixers, which doesn't just have to be a MG 12XU Yamaha, it could be probably, you know, a Mackie or whatever, but you're actually able to keep track of your levels to an exact point. Now, lastly, I just want to touch on our last two topics, which would be regarding preamps and fixed routing. Now, when it comes to preamps, preamps are pretty self-explanatory, but I just to explain it a little bit. When you have a dirty, less quality preamp, which usually comes in lower budget mixers compared to high quality mixers, is that even if you're not dealing with sound and you're putting the levels up, you're going to hear a static. You're going to hear a hiss. And if you've ever been to an event like that, most likely they're either dealing with a cheaper mixer or they're just dealing with a lot of equipment that can't handle the power of everything, right? So now you're going to either hear a tss, or you're going to hear a static. You're going to hear some type of harsh sound that's really just going to throw off the audio in general until it matches the level of audio, which you don't want. So I definitely suggest going for the high quality mixers, at least within that aspect compared to the lower quality mixers. Now, I just want to hit on our last topic, and we're going to talk about fixed routing. Now, fixed routing doesn't have to do too much when it comes to our physical mixers. These two mixers, regardless if it's high budget or low budget physical mixers that we actually are able to control, these mixers have their own presets, and their presets are controlled by a left and a right. You know, you might be able to control a specific aux, which goes to another speaker or whatever. But when we're talking about our digital mixers, we're talking about zones. We're talking about control, right? Less about the sound, but more about the control. And when it comes to control, let's say, for example, we have live entertainment in a restaurant and a specific table within a zone of the restaurant doesn't want to hear the music that loud. They just kind of want to conversate. They want to talk to their friends, their family, whatever. We're able to actually lower the music in that specific zone, but keep the other zones at different levels or the highest level if we're just keeping it like that for the entertainment for that night. So it's really just about control when it comes to fixed routing. Now, you're not able to do that as much when it comes to physical mixers like these because they only have two sets, and those are the left main, the main left and the main right. And now, like I said, if you have an aux, you could definitely probably control it from there, but you can't really keep too much control over your levels because you're not able to see that unless you probably fix it up to a certain channel and then see what levels are going out through there. But besides that, the digital mixer takes the win on that one. So I know this is probably a very long video, but basically just to get the lesson out the way is that I'm not owning all of these three mixers to be extra. At the end of the day, different events require different tools. And that's what each of these mixers do. For the $40 mixer, we're using that for cheaper events, quicker events, especially for emergency uses. Now, when it comes to our Yamaha, we're doing this for professional events where sound really matters. Or now when we're using our digital mixer, which is the Behringer 16XR, now we're using that when we need more control over the rooms. And yes, this could do the same job as any of them. The same way the $40 mixer could do the same job as any of the other ones. Now, whether you're getting into audio or you're a DJ looking to expand on your equipment, I want to let you know now, let this be the last video you need. Stop asking yourself what's the best mixer you could get, and instead ask yourself, what do I actually need for my events? After that, let everything else answer the questions, because out of all these mixers, they all do the same great job. It's just for different uses. Now, if you're in the DJ world, you're in the audio world, and you're looking to be put on to more game, follow this channel, subscribe, leave a comment, leave a like. If you have any recommendations, let me know what you like, and let's go from there. Peace.